Here's something you need to understand. Every single software company, doesn't matter if you're a 50-person startup or a 5,000-person giant, runs on the exact same 6 gears. The only real question is, are your gears meshing together smoothly, or are they just grinding each other into dust? Look, I'm going to start with something that might sting a little, but you need to hear it. Your company thinks it's special. It thinks its problems are unique. They're not. The chaos you're feeling, the friction, the stuff that keeps you up at night, we've seen it 100 times before because the underlying machine is always the same. Go ahead, pull up your org chart. What do you see? You see these neat, tidy boxes, right? Sales, marketing, engineering, finance. But that's not how work actually happens. Work doesn't care about your boxes. It flows across them like a river. And it's in those handoffs, in those invisible processes between the boxes where everything either clicks or just completely falls apart. So let's dive in. We're going to start with the most important gear, the one that literally keeps the lights on, your lead to cash process. This is your entire revenue engine, the whole thing. It starts the second a potential customer even hears your name, and it doesn't end until their money's actually in your bank account. That entire journey from A to Z. So who owns this? Well, the answer should be one person, a single owner who sees the whole picture. But what happens in reality? Marketing owns their little piece, then they throw it over the wall to sales. Sales closes the deal, then they throw it over another wall to finance. And every single one of those handoffs is a point of friction, a place for things to go wrong. And you have to get this. When your revenue engine is full of that much friction, every single bit of growth becomes painfully expensive. You're literally fighting your own company structure just to make $1. Okay, so the deal's closed, the cash is in, we're done, right? Not even close. Now we shift to the second gear, the customer lifecycle. That signed contract? That's not the finish line, my friend. That's the starting gun. This gear is everything that happens next. Getting the customer onboarded, making sure they get the value you promised, and hopefully expanding the account. Because the only other option is churn. Now, who should be driving this? A smart, proactive customer success ops team. But what do we usually see? Just constant reactive firefighting. A team that's just drowning in support tickets, trying to save customers who are probably set up to fail from the very beginning. Why is this so critical? It all comes down to this number. It costs anywhere from 5 to 25 times more to get a new customer than it does to just keep the one you already have. When this gear is grinding, you are just setting piles of money on fire. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the gear that actually defines the thing you sell, your product. This is Application Lifecycle Management. ALM is the whole journey, from a spark of an idea to lines of code to a feature that gets shipped. And here's the part everybody forgets, a feature that your customers actually adopt and use. If they don't use it, it doesn't count. Just think about that for a second. Your customer success team is putting out fires all day. But where did the fires start? At least half the time, it's because the product is confusing, or it's buggy, or it just doesn't do what the salesperson said it would. A broken product process is just pouring gasoline on your churn rate. Now, let's talk about the gear that makes all the other gears turn. Your people, the employee lifecycle. This is the system, the process for finding the best people, getting them ramped up, helping them grow, and, actually making them want to stay. It's the human operating system for your entire company. And if you think this is some soft HR function, let me put a price tag on it for you. This is a conservative estimate for what it costs to replace just one employee. One. Factoring in recruiting, training, lost productivity, now multiply that by how many people left last year. Yeah, the numbers get big really fast. Okay, let's talk about how your company spends money on everything that isn't a person. This is gear number 5, Procure to Pay. This is the process for how you buy literally everything you need to run the business. And for most companies, it's absolute chaos. You've got shadow IT popping up everywhere, zombie subscriptions you're paying for that nobody's used in years, and like 3 different departments all buying the same software without talking to each other. Sound familiar? Just look at this. On average, 10 to 30% of software spending is pure waste. That is not a rounding error. That's your profit margin, just vanishing into thin air, because this gear is completely broken. And that brings us to the final gear, the one everyone thinks is boring, right up until it becomes a five-alarm emergency. We're talking about corporate governance. This is the legal and financial scaffolding that holds your whole company up. And if you think it's not a big deal, this quote, this is from real life. I've seen this happen. Ignoring this gear doesn't just cause problems, it can create multi-million-dollar surprises that can literally kill the business. So, okay, we've walked through all six gears, but here's the central insight, the thing that almost everybody misses. The goal isn't just to make each gear spin faster by itself. The goal is to make them mesh. Think about how they all connect. A smooth lead-to-cash process sets up the customer lifecycle for success. The employee lifecycle, well, that provides the talent to run all the other gears. Your product quality, your ALM, that directly impacts whether customers stay or leave. Procure to pay gets everyone the tools they need to do their jobs, and governance keeps the whole machine from flying apart. You see, they're not separate things. They are one system. So what's the secret? What makes them all mesh together? What's the hub that connects all these gears? It's your business systems. It's the technology, the data, and the shared processes that let all these gears turn in harmony as one single, powerful machine. And this right here, this is the core problem we find everywhere. Your company is organized by functions, by departments, and that will always create silos. It's natural. But value, the thing your customers pay for, is only created by cross-functional processes that create flow. You're structured for silos, but you have to operate for flow. That's the conflict. So let's do a quick reality check. Be honest with yourself for a second. Which side of this chart sounds more like your company today? Are you running on the backs of a few heroic people who just know how to get stuff done? Is everyone just focused on their own department's goals? Is trying to figure out who's accountable a nightmare of dotted line hell? Well, that's chaos. Where you need to be is a place with clear process owners, where people think in terms of systems, not silos, where you get predictable excellence, not because of heroes, but because you have a well-oiled machine. So I'll just leave you with this one question. Now that you've seen the six gears, which one is grinding the loudest inside your company right now? Which one can you feel is causing the most vibration? Because once you can hear it, once you can actually see these gears for what they are, that's when you can finally start to fix them. And that right there is when everything starts to change.